When we think of some of the greatest athletes, we tend to admire their physical capabilities. But beyond an athlete's skill is his or her mind. And as sports psychologist Natasha Wicks explains, it is an athlete's mental skills that can be just as vital to success. Hi, I'm Devin Goletz, sports reporter for the Big Purple Couch, and I'm joined with Natasha Wicks, who has a PhD in sports psychology. She's the head coach of the women's rugby team here at Western, and she even has her own company called Elite Mind Performance. So Natasha, can you tell us a bit about what you do?
Yeah, currently with my company I work with athletes and coaches, teams of all sport backgrounds, different ages, and just looking to help those people that I work with be better at what they do already through mastering the mental aspect of the game, essentially.
That's great. And I noticed on your website that you talk about how sport is actually 90% mental and not physical. So what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, obviously we need the physical aspect of sport. We need to be able to master those things, but usually what tends to get in the way of performance is not always the physical piece. It's often the mental piece, and we tend to overlook training the mental side of the game, and in fact we can train the mental side, and that's essentially what I do in my work, is helping athletes develop those mental tools, the mental components of the game, so that they can face the pressure, face the competition with those tools in hand. So.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, when you think about big athletes like Tiger Woods, for example, who's really struggled a lot in his past year of his career due to what seems to be mental issues. His game has never really changed, but a lot of things off the field have affected him negatively. So what would you suggest or talk to an athlete about how to get over a troubling season like that?
Not that I'm going to be working directly with Tiger Woods anytime soon, but I think it's essentially the same for all athletes. Is, what we think about, what we envision in our minds is what we're going to get out of our sport, because our mind is directly obviously connected with our body. And so if you can try to separate, which is very difficult obviously, but separate your outside life from your sporting life and really be able to focus on the concrete things, the things that are within your control, within that sport, within your performance, then you tend to be able to just ride that performance and allow that performance to take place. When you start to think about things that are outside of your control, that are irrelevant to your sport performance at that time, then we start to get worried. Your mind starts to wander, and if your mind wanders in any sport, then obviously you're not on the game. And so that's essentially the biggest thing, is focusing on things that are within your control. Obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but that's kind of the big picture piece of it.
Of course. So you want to focus on things that are in your control. What are some examples maybe of some exercises that you can work on yourself to build up your mental skills?
Okay. Well, one of the things in terms of building confidence, building your mental skills, imagery, or what most people call visualization, is a big thing. And I did most of my work in my PhD on that, so that's why I'm big on that piece. But imagery is essentially recreating or creating images in your mind, but bringing in all the sensations. And our body learns through all our senses. So whether it's seeing, hearing, feeling, touching, all those things, that's how we learn about things. And so if you can recreate the images incorporating all those senses, then your body is in essence doing, even though it's not doing it in real life, it's reacting as if it is doing it in real life. So it's that extra practice time. And through imagery and other tools, you can build your confidence, because one of the ways that we build confidence and we gain confidence is by being able to know that we can do something. And if you envision it in your mind, create it and feel it, then in your mind you've done it, your body's done it, so that's as if you've already done it, whether it's real life or not, and you gain confidence from that. So that's one of those tools. Obviously there's many others, self-talk and so on, but imagery, because it's such a powerful thing, can play a big role in how an athlete becomes confident and how they perform on the field or on the court or wherever.
So would you say that self-talk and imagery, the things that you can control, the tools, it's one thing to say that, but many athletes, do they ever say, easier said than done? And how do you get your athletes to buy into what you're doing and actually believe that they can improve?
Right, that's a great question. And it's small steps. It's like anything else. When you're learning a new sport, or when you're learning anything in sport, it's focusing on the small things that you can do. So it's not about all of a sudden making a life-changing decision that you're going to now start using imagery, but it's about incorporating it into your daily routine. So in your warm-up, you might spend time envisioning what you're going to do in the game or in your performance, and making that part of your daily routine. Maybe start doing the imagery at night before you go to bed, just to get used to it, because it is a skill, and they're called mental skills for a reason, because they are skills and they're not just things that you are born with, and you have to develop them, just like you have to develop your ability to shoot the puck or pass a ball or kick a ball or whatever it is, and you've got to take time to practice that. So with the athletes that I work with or with the teams, it's small steps, small exercises that they can do, and then eventually, before you know it, you've now developed imagery skills that you tend to do on a daily basis without even knowing it.
Well, that's great. And I know that you have a seminar coming up at the end of March, March 30th, that is titled Overcoming Setbacks.
Yeah, overcoming setbacks. So I do a few of those seminars every once in a while. It's more to expose people to what sports psychology is. There are a lot of myths out there that you have to have something wrong with you in order to go into looking at use of sports psychology. But the seminar basically is going to give some ideas of how you can overcome setbacks, why you get into situations where you think that you can't continue, or you think that it's impossible to keep going, and so how do you deal with that situation? What are the typical things that you can focus on, little tools, tricks of the trade that we can give you, and hopefully people that come to that seminar can take something from it and apply it to their everyday life, whether it's in sport or anything else. So.
Well, that's great, and I guess you can learn more at www.elitemindperformance.com. That's Natasha Wicks, who is a sports psychologist, coach of Western's rugby team, and also has her own company, Elite Mind Performance. So if you're an athlete looking to get that extra edge in your game, don't forget the mental skills, because that'll help you succeed. I'm Devin Goletz, sports reporter for the Big Purple Couch. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something about sports psychology.